Okay, so picture this scenario. It's a Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into the kitchen, or maybe you're sitting on the couch, and you say one sentence. Just
Okay.
one simple sentence. Something like, hey, can we talk about what happened yesterday?
Oh, no.
It seems harmless.
Right. Famous last words.
Right. Because fast forward 40 minutes and you're trapped. You're in a loop.
Yep.
You're repeating the same 3 points. Voices are getting raised. Your heart is pounding. And you have made absolutely zero progress.
And then it just ends.
It just ends. Usually because someone storms off or just gives up from pure exhaustion.
Yeah.
And you feel drained, confused, and kind of weirdly guilty, even though nothing got solved.
It is such a universally exhausting experience.
Yeah.
It's that feeling, when you walk away thinking, I don't even know what we were arguing about anymore.
Yes.
Ah.
You start with the dishes, and somehow you end up arguing about my entire personality.
Exactly.
And what we found in the research for today is that this feeling, it isn't random. It's not just two people having a bad day.
No, it's a specific structural failure in communication. We are unpacking the circular argument.
Which sounds like a math problem, but is actually a relationship nightmare.
It really is. And we're not just talking about, bickering. We're talking about a conflict pattern where the underlying need never gets addressed.
So you just spiral.
You just spiral. It's the difference between a conversation that actually moves forward and like a car spinning its wheels in the mud.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. The more you rev the engine, the deeper you sink.
That's it.
So to help us get some traction, we've pulled together a pretty serious stack of research.
I have.
We've got conflict resolution insights from Pollack and Stewart, some deep relationship research from Christensen and Heavy.
Mm-hmm. And some heavy hitters from psychology. The Gottman Institute and Marshall Linehan's work on dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT.
It's a great mix because you get the why from the psychologists and then the how from the conflict experts. And our mission today is pretty clear. We want to understand why we get stuck in these loops, like what is literally firing in our brains.
And then how to get out.
And we found actual scripts for this, which is so rare. Usually the advice is just be nicer.
Which helps nobody. Or calm down.
Calm down is the worst advice in human history.
The absolute worst.
It really is. But before we get to the solutions, let's define the beast. How do the experts actually distinguish a circular argument from just a normal disagreement?
That's a really important distinction. Pollack defines it specifically as a conflict that keeps restarting.
Okay.
Because the underlying need, or fear, or maybe a power issue, is never addressed.
So on the surface, you're arguing about the dishes.
Right, or the schedule or the tone of voice.
Yeah.
But because you never get to the level of needs or meaning,
It just circles back.
it slides right back into what we call trigger words or, defensive moves.
So the topic itself, the dirty dishes, is basically a decoy.
Precisely. It's a symptom, not the disease. You might win the argument about the dishes, but the conflict won't go away.
Because it wasn't about the porcelain.
It was about respect or feeling helped. And this leads to a really critical concept in the literature called baiting.
Taking the bait.
Right. Pollack talks about this a lot. This is the moment someone's comment just hook your nervous system.
And sometimes it's really obvious bait.
Oh, totally. If someone says, you're acting just like your mother, or you always do this, that's a massive hook.
That's an invitation to war. That is not a conversation starter.
It is.
Mm.
But it can be subtle, too.
Yeah.
It can be someone saying, calm down, but with a certain tone, like a command.
Or an eye roll.
Or an eye roll, yeah. The source notes that these aren't just annoying phrases. They trigger identity threats.
So you feel disrespected.
Disrespected, powerless, maybe even unsafe. And the moment that happens, the content of the argument, the dishes, it becomes secondary.
Now you're just defending yourself. I think that's such a key insight. We think we're just being stubborn, but actually we're feeling threatened. And this connects to the physiology, right? Because the research suggests this isn't just all in our heads.
No, it's in our bodies. And this is where it gets really interesting and honestly a bit scary.
Okay.
When you take that bait, your nervous system shifts into a fight or flight response.
The classic response.
Yep. And Pollack explains that some people escalate. That's the fight response.
Mm-hmm.
So anger, raised voices, attacking.
And others withdraw.
That's the flight response. Silence, numbness, just avoiding.
But here's the part that really blew my mind. The research says a stressed nervous system actually changes the way you think.
It does. It's called cognitive distortion.
Yeah.
When you feel threatened, you are way more likely to interpret ambiguous words as hostile.
So you lose the benefit of the doubt.
Completely. Your brain prioritizes winning or surviving over understanding.
So you literally become dumber.
In a relational
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, basically. You lose access to your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles logic and empathy.
Wow.
You're operating on a different operating system, one that's designed for survival, not for resolving a dispute about laundry.
That explains that staircase wit thing. You know, when you walk away and an hour later you think, oh, I should have said that.
Yes, or wait, why was I so angry?
Right. It's because your brain finally came back online.
Exactly, you were hijacked. Your body was running the show, not your logical mind.
Okay, so if this feels so bad, if we feel drained and guilty and confused and we know we're not thinking clearly, why do we keep doing it?
That is the million-dollar question.
Why do we fall into the loop over and over again?
To answer that, the source material points us toward 4 different lenses.
Okay.
4 ways to see the mechanics of the trap so we can stop falling into it.
Let's run through them. What's the first lens?
The first one is the needs-based view. This comes back to Pollock.
If we see conflict not as a debate to be won, but as a threat to our core needs, like respect or autonomy or safety, then the loop makes sense.
How so?
Well, if I feel my need for respect is being threatened and I argue back to win points or prove I'm right, I'm failing.
Because winning points doesn't fix the lack of respect.
Right. If you're starving and I hand you a graph showing how much food you ate yesterday, you're still hungry.
That is a great analogy. I'm throwing facts at you to prove I'm right, but you're starving for respect.
And no amount of data will feed that hunger. You're speaking 2 different languages. The driver is a threatened need, not missing information.
Okay, so lens 1 is unmet needs. What's lens 2? This one sounded very familiar when I read the notes.
This is one of the most researched patterns in relationship psychology. The demand-withdrawal pattern.
From Christensen and Heavy.
Yes, back in the 90s.
The name alone kind of implies a chase, doesn't it?
It is exactly a chase, and it's self-perpetuating. The dynamic is this. One person pressures, criticizes, or demands change. That's the demand.
And the other
The other person avoids, shuts down, or walks away. That's the withdrawal.
But the trap is how they feed each other.
Exactly. The demander feels ignored. They feel like their partner just doesn't care. So what do?
They get louder.
They get louder, they escalate. Why aren't you listening to me? Why won't you answer me?
And in response, the withdrawer feels attacked. They feel scrutinized. So they just retreat even further.
Right. They put up thicker walls, which of course makes the demander scream louder.
It's a feedback loop.
It is. And Christensen and Heavy found this isn't just annoying. It is, and I'm quoting here, deleterious. It predicts poor relationship outcomes.
It creates this polarized dynamic where nobody feels safe enough to listen.
And neither person can stop. Because stopping feels unsafe.
What do you mean?
The demander feels if they stop pushing, nothing will ever get resolved. The withdrawer feels if they stop running, they'll get crushed.
That leads us pretty naturally into lens 3 because we have the Gottman Institute in the stack.
You can't talk about relationship disasters without talking about the 4 horsemen.
The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. It's so dramatic.
Dramatic, but accurate. Gottman identifies 4 behaviors: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling.
And for this loop discussion, you wanted to focus on stonewalling.
Yeah, let's double-click on stonewalling.
That's the ultimate withdrawal, right?
It is. It's when someone just completely shuts down, flat face, looking away, total silence.
Right.
But here is the crucial insight from Gottman. Stonewalling isn't usually a calculated act of meanness.
Yep.
It happens when someone is flooded.
Flooded meaning physiologically overwhelmed.
Yes. Their heart rate is above 100 beats per minute. Adrenaline is pumping. They have hit a physiological wall.
So pushing a stonewaller is like banging your head against a biological wall.
You got it. The loop just restarts because repair is physiologically impossible in that moment.
That completely changes how you see the silent person. They aren't just ignoring you. They might be short-circuiting.
They're in freeze mode. Their body's protecting them from what it thinks is a threat.
Okay, so we have unmet needs, demand withdrawal, and stonewalling or flooding. What's the 4th lens?
The 4th lens offers more of a solution-focused view. It comes from DBT, interpersonal effectiveness.
This is Marsha Linehan's work.
Yes. And the lens here is viewing these high-emotion conversations not as character tests, but as skill moments.
I love that phrase, skill moments.
It just takes the morality out of it, right? The idea is that stress makes improvisation bad. We're terrible improvisers when we're in fight or flight.
So we need scripts. We need a structure.
Exactly. It's like a fire drill. You don't wait until the building is burning to decide where the exit is. You have a plan.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, we get baited, our nervous system freaks out, we get stuck in these cycles, and we try to improvise when we have the brain power of a lizard.
Not a great combo.
Not at all.
Eh.
So let's pivot to the how. How do we actually break this loop?
This is the good part. The sources gave us some really specific steps.
This is where the gold is. So, step 1. What is the very first thing we do when we realize, oh no, we're doing it again?
Step 1 is name the pattern.
Okay.
Instead of blaming the person, you blame the dynamic.
Give me the script. What does that sound like?
It's simple. We're looping. Can we slow down and pick one
Or
point?
looping. I like that.
It's powerful because it shifts the focus. You're not saying you are being annoying. You're saying this dynamic between us is broken right now.
It reduces that identity threat we talked about.
Puts you both on the same side, looking at the loop as the problem.
It's meta-communication. You're talking about the conversation, not just in it.
Exactly. You hit the pause button.
Okay, so we've paused. But usually we're paused because something bad was just said. That brings us to step 2. Behavior versus interpretation.
This is critical. We so often confuse what actually happened with the story we tell ourselves about what happened.
Can you give an example?
Pollock uses a great one with roommates. Let's say one roommate, Alex, says, "You never clean, you're selfish."
Classic character attack. You are selfish.
Right. And then Sam, the other roommate, takes the bait and says, "Oh, please, you're controlling." And boom, the loop begins.
So how do we fix that using this tool?
You strip away the adjectives and stick to the facts.
Yeah.
The script sounds like this. When you interrupted me twice, that's the behavior, just the facts.
Okay.
I told myself you thought my point didn't matter. That's the interpretation. And then you ask, is that what you meant?
I told myself, that is such a crucial phrase. You're owning the story.
Exactly. You're not saying you made me feel small. You're saying I created a story that I was small.
Which invites clarification instead of defense.
Right. It gives the other person a chance to say, no, I just interrupted because I was excited or panicked or whatever. It de-escalates immediately.
I can see that working.
Yeah.
But what if it's too late? What if we're already shouting or one person is totally stonewalling?
Yeah, you need step 3. And honestly, if you take only one thing from this deep dive, it should be this.
Okay.
The regulated pause.
Now, is this just I'm leaving? Because that sounds a lot like the withdrawal pattern to me.
No. And that is the critical distinction. If you just walk away, you're triggering that demand-withdraw cycle. The other person feels abandoned.
So how do you pause without triggering the chase?
The crucial rule, according to Pollock, is that you must state a return time.
A return time.
The script is, I'm too heated to do this well. I need 20 minutes, then I'll come back.
Why 20 minutes specifically? Is that just arbitrary?
No, it's physiological. It takes about 20 minutes for your parasympathetic nervous system to kick in and metabolize all that adrenaline and cortisol.
So you literally need that time to get your brain back.
You do. 5 minutes isn't enough. Your heart is still racing. But the magic is in the promise to return.
Right.
It tells the other person, I am not leaving you. I am managing myself so I can be better for you.
That's a huge reframe. It turns walking away from an act of war into an act of care.
That's it.
Okay, step 4 is for the heavy lifting. The sources mention an acronym from DBT called Dear Man.
Yes. This is for when the stakes are high and improvisation is just too risky.
So you're asking for a raise or addressing a deep relationship issue.
Exactly. Dear Man is a checklist to make sure you don't get lost in emotion.
Let's break it down quickly. What does it stand for?
D is describe. Describe the facts, strictly, no judgment. You came home at 8 p.m., not you came home late.
Just the data.
E is express. Express your feelings using I statements. I felt worried, not you worried me.
Okay.
A is assert. Ask for what you need clearly. No hints. I would like you to text me if you're going to be past 7.
And R is reinforce.
Explain why this helps both of you. This way I won't be stressed when you walk in the door.
And the man part.
Mindful, stay on topic. Don't get sidetracked by old arguments. Appear confident even if you're shaking inside. And negotiate. Be willing to give to get.
It sounds like a lot to remember, but I guess that's the point.
Absolutely. The source says high emotion conversations are skill moments. Using a script isn't cheating. It's being smart. It keeps you on the rails.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here. Does this always work?
I'm glad you asked that.
If I say we're looping and I take my 20 minutes, is everything going to be sunshine and rainbows?
The answer is a hard no. And the source material makes a very critical distinction here.
Which is,
The difference between conflict resolution and conflict management.
what's the difference?
Conflict resolution is about rebuilding trust, solving the problem, putting it behind you. That's the ideal goal.
Okay.
But conflict management is what you do when resolution isn't possible right now. Its goal is simply minimizing harm.
So sometimes the win isn't fixing the problem, it's just stopping the bleeding.
Exactly. Pollock and Gottman are really clear on this. If the other person persists in mockery or contempt or stonewalling, even after you've tried to de-escalate, the goal has to shift.
It shifts to boundaries.
Shifts to boundaries.
So what does that sound like? What do you say when the other person just will not stop baiting you?
Use a boundary script, and it sounds like this. I will continue this conversation when we can both speak respectfully. If that can't happen right now, I'm ending it.
Wow. That's very firm.
It has to be. And notice, it's not a threat. It's an if-then statement about your own participation.
You're not trying to control them.
You're controlling you. You are refusing to participate in your own destruction.
And there's some really serious caveats here, right? Because don't take the bait isn't always fair advice depending on the situation.
Right. We have to be realistic about power dynamics. Stewart points this out.
Okay.
If one person controls the resources, like a boss, or a parent, telling the less powerful person to just communicate better is unfair.
Right. You might not have the safety to use a boundary script with your boss.
You might just have to survive the interaction. And culture plays a massive role, too.
How so?
Direct assertiveness. Like, dear man, looking someone in the eye and asking for what you want, that is very Western.
In some cultures, it could be seen as incredibly rude.
Or disrespectful to authority, yeah. You have to adapt these tools to your context.
And safety, I think that's the most important one.
It is. The goal of these tools is never to keep you in a conversation that physically or emotionally harms you.
Right.
If you are unsafe, the strategy isn't don't take the bait. The strategy is get to safety.
Thank you for clarifying that. It's not about becoming a robot who never reacts.
No.
It's about having a toolkit and knowing when to use which tool.
Exactly. It's about self-regulation.
So let's bring this all home. We've covered the loop, the bait, the physiology of the flooded brain, and the 4 steps to break out. If you had to summarize the big takeaway here, what is it?
The main idea is that circular arguments are not fixed by better facts or smarter comebacks.
You can't logic your way out of it.
You can't. It's a physiological loop. You fix them by changing the interaction pattern. You have to stop the car, check the engine, and then drive.
I love that. And there was a quote in the source material that I think is just the perfect mantra for this.
I think I know the one you mean.
It said, the real flex isn't winning the argument, it's refusing the loop.
That's the one. Refusing the loop.
So here is our challenge to you, the listener. We want you to pick one relationship where you tend to get baited. Just one.
Don't try to fix your whole life in a day.
Right. And practice just one move this week.
Maybe just try naming the loop. Hey, we're circling. Or try that regulated pause. I need 20 minutes.
See what happens. See if it changes the feeling in the room. And we will leave you with this final thought. It's something to chew on. When you feel that urge to snap back, to take the bait, ask yourself this question. Are you trying to win the point, or are you trying to win the relationship?
Because often you can't do both. That is the ultimate question. Fighting for a victory is very different from fighting for a need.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.